Hello everyone, this is Hushman with eBikes USA. Today I'm excited to show you the new SONDORS Cruiser, which completes the 3 mid-drive bikes from SONDORS. We have the Rockstar, we have the LX, and now we have the Cruiser. This video is designed to go over the key specs of this bikes, some of my first impressions, and then later on I'll be doing a different video where we will be comparing the rides of the 3 bikes, the application, the best use cases on how these bikes can benefit us. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share. That helps our channel. Here we go. So SONDORS Cruiser is another mid-drive bike with a step-through design. The big difference between this bike and the LX, there are several actually, big differences. The first thing that's noticeable, that comes to me is the fact that this bike has a rigid fork versus hydraulic shock. This bike, while it's still 27.5-inch wheel, it is a 3-inch smooth street tires, which, as the name calls, it's a cruiser. Also, it comes with a swept back handlebar, which makes the distance between the seat and the handlebars shorter, so it's more of an upright seating position, probably a more comfortable position. There are a few other differences that gives this bike its own unique characteristics. The seat collar height on this bike is lower than what's on the LX. Even though both bikes share a lot of similarities in frame design, this bike is designed to be a shorter bike. This will accommodate shorter riders and probably a more comfortable, more upright seating position. I have captured the key specs on these things. For anyone that's interested, I will put them on this channel, on this video, so you could easily see the differences. Rockstar has the highest standover height, obviously due to its design, full suspension with a dropper seat post. So I did some measurements. When you look at the 3 bikes, this one has a 32-inch standover height versus a very comfortable 20-inch standover height due to the step-through design. However, once you go past that, there are some significant differences. The height collar, the seat collar, the height of the seat collar to the center of the crank is 20 inches. This is essentially a large frame. This is a 20-inch bike when it compares to the other 2. Also, this bike has the longest distance between the seat and the stem, the handlebar. So this is perfect for someone who's a little bit taller, that has longer arms, and they would like to stretch out. It is designed to be a mountain bike where you need to be seated in a more aggressive position, leaning over, putting more weight on the handlebars. It gives you better control. When it comes to LX, this one we have an adjustable stem. However, when I looked at the standard handlebar height, this bike has a 47-inch handlebar height to the ground, and it has, even though it has a 20-inch standover height, the seat collar to the pedal on this bike is 20.5 inches. It is still a tall bike like the Rockstar. However, because it's a step-through, it can accommodate more riders. Also, I have placed the seat on all the 3 bikes in their lowest position. The height from the seat height to the ground on this bike is 37.5 inches. On the Rockstar is 37. So for someone who would like to be seated and still touch the ground, you really gotta have long legs, or get off the bike, or change the seat post to a non-suspension seat post where you can actually lower the seat height. The pedaling position from the seat to the lowest position on the pedal on this bike is 32 inches versus 30.5 inches on the Rockstar. This is what makes these bikes unique in their own ways. When it comes to Cruiser, here's some significant information that I make me like this bike even more now that I have seen it. Because it doesn't have the hydraulic shock, the handlebar height to the ground on the Cruiser is 46 inches, which is an inch shorter than the LX. It has the same 20-inch standover height. However, the seat collar is lower on this bike. This is a 16.5-inch height from the seat collar to the center of the crank, so it's a shorter frame. As a result, the seat, the lowest position on the seat to the ground on this bike is only 34.5 inches. So this is 3 inches lower than the LX. Also, the pedaling position, the lowest seat height to the lowest position on the pedal on this bike is only 28.5 inches. This bike will accommodate people that have 28-inch seam very comfortably. That's what makes this bike so approachable and appealing to a larger group of riders. And as you can see, thanks to the 3-inch tires versus 4.9-inch, the fact that it's a rigid fork, swept back handlebar, and a lower seat position, this bike can accommodate height challenge riders better than the LX would. It's still a heavy bike, it's still 83 pounds. However, it handles very well and it's very nimble, it's easier to ride, and with the step-through design, it can accommodate a larger group of riders than, let's say, the Rockstar with a taller standover height. Let's go over some of the key specs from drivetrain perspective. This bike shares the same Bafang Ultra 620 motor that is tuned for SONDORS to be classified as a Class 3 750 watt 28 miles an hour bike. The drivetrain in the back, it shares the same components as the LX. It's the Shimano Altos derailleur with a 7-speed gears. These gears are 12 to 32 cassette, and there are a lot of similarities. From braking perspective, it shares the same brakes as the LX. It's Tektero Ariga with 180 millimeter disc. So that is a very capable design. The battery on this bike is 48 volt, 21 amp hour. It's the same battery design that's found on the LX and the Rockstar. The application looks a little bit different, but a lot of that is cosmetic. The battery itself are the same. It does have the integrated lights, very similar to LX. The position on the frame is a little bit different, but it works very well. It does have a very nice heavy-duty kickstand that's set further back on the frame, so it doesn't interfere with the pedals. I've always liked kickstands that are further in the back. And what I also like about this, and I think I mentioned this already, this swept back handlebar. This is a very comfortable seating position, similar grips to what is found on the LX, gear shifter, 7-speed gear grip shifter, throttle, and obviously the same color display. I have looked at the display. It is configured slightly differently for the LX to accommodate the tire size, the wheel size. The wheels size is the same, but the tire sizes are different. Otherwise, for most part, it's the same display, just programmed slightly differently. Overall, it's a beautiful bike. What we're looking at is the red and white color. I love this. It's a beautiful bike, and it's a joy to ride. Now, who's this bike for and what application would work? When I look at these three bikes, obviously the Rockstar is geared toward someone who's interested in a full suspension bike for trail riding, fire road riding. It's a good all-around application for riding on the streets, on paved roads, and on fire roads. LX, similarly, it's a fat tire application, front shock, it's a hardtail, a step-through design, but with these 4.9-inch tires, it's a heavier bike than both Rockstar and the Cruiser. And on the LX, you've noticed it's equipped with the headlight, tail lights, all around. It's a great urban city rides. However, with that front shock and these fat tires, you could easily accommodate the fire roads, the gravel roads. It does have the suspension seat post, and you can always upgrade that to a higher end suspension seat post for a more comfortable, subtle ride. When it comes to the Cruiser, this is truly the urban bike, paved roads. There are no shocks on this bike, so the rider will absorb the bumps. And even though it does have a suspension seat post, it lacks the front shock that LX does. But this bike provides a more approachable standover for many of our riders that prefer to have a shorter bike and a more upright seating position. As you can see on the LX that I have been riding, we've installed a adjustable stem. This was built for me, so it's a little bit more accommodating. On this bike, I don't have to do anything. I can ride it just as is. Even though it's a fixed stem, the swept back handlebars will accommodate a more comfortable seating position. All in all, it's a beautiful bike, very comfortable to ride. I would say this is the perfect boardwalk bike. If you live by a beach, if you live in places like Colorado where we have many bike paths, bike lanes, parks, this would be a perfect ride. Would I ride this in the mountains? On paved roads, absolutely. It does have the power, and it certainly has the battery range to accommodate those longer rides and the steep mountain rides. However, it lacks the shocks that I would have looked for on a gravel ride. Hope you enjoyed this video. On the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the display and also the ride characteristics of the three bikes. I've been saving content that I can show the three bikes side by side with different group of riders, different heights, to show you how they are different and how they would work together. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.